Hi, this is Katie McCarthy, and we're here to talk about the Innovate series that 1 Million Acts of Innovation has launched, and I'm here with Stephen Dabous. And Stephen, my first question is for you. There are some real emotional triggers that the Innovate series is hitting, and I would love it if you would tell us a little bit about what is that nerve that we're really hitting here, and why are so many executives interested in this series?
Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting question. I think probably the key thing is timing. I think right now this series is hitting at a timing at a point of intersection that's just outstanding, and that's the fact that I think our society, both on a personal and a corporate basis, our mindsets are becoming a little more open. So we've got this open mindset traveling along at the same time as there's all sorts of challenges in the corporate world. A lot of that is dysfunctionality. And when you start to kind of bring those together and they hit an intersection point, the change that can start to come about based on innovation, based on thinking a little differently, thinking a little more creative, is something that can just drive incredible productivity. And I think that the last piece of that's kind of intersecting with that is desire. People are looking, I think, again, on consumer, individual, family, friends, and corporate. All of us have much more of a desire, or a continued desire, a passion to be better.
You talked a little bit about productivity, and the word productivity comes from, to produce. And to produce something is really an act of innovation.
Yeah.
What are the challenges that you see that chief innovation officers are really dealing with in terms of productivity?
Probably the biggest challenge inside from a corporate perspective is the barriers. And there's barriers, probably cultural barriers. And if I'm inside an organization and if I've got a fresh creative project or a concept or an idea, and I bring it to you as my manager, and your reaction to it is stifling. If your reaction to it is, hey, Steve, go away, then what am I going to do? I mean, I'm likely not going to come back to you again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as the challenge is to create an organization that almost enhances or adheres or celebrates failure. Because if we can't expect to have fresh, creative, innovative concepts, ideas that are going to go to the next phase, go to the next stage, become commercialized, unless we fail. Babies crawl, walk, run. What do we learn as kids? How to fall, how to
Get back up.
And get back up. So, biggest challenge, I think, for us as leaders, or any of us as leaders, create an environment where it's okay not to fail.
It's really a beautiful concept, and I know that the members of 1 Million Acts of Innovation really see the need for culture change, so that we can really succeed. We can have that culture where people have the freedom to fail, where innovation really thrives. And how do successful chief innovation officers how do they deal with this? How do they initiate that culture change?
Yeah, it's probably go back to a framework, and maybe they want an old Stephen Covey line would be begin with the end in mind. And maybe the end in mind is that if they do the job correctly, then they have no job, because then they've taken this thing called innovation, and if they can drive it down and out and across, and just embed it like DNA into their corporate environment, their corporate culture. And people are thinking creatively, and they're not afraid to bring new projects and new concepts, through the ranks, through their peers, up to their management. And there's a framework and a process and an environment that celebrates this type of path. Then they'll get there. So their challenge is to recognize that, and then so they know where they're going, then create a path to get there.
So why do you think that this series is really urgent for the world?
Well, I think one of the things my dad used to say is that wouldn't it be nice if we can leave this place, this campsite, a little bit better than how we found it. And it's urgent because the world is, we have lots of challenges. And our resources are being depleted, they're finite. Knowledge, as we've shifted, the different economies from knowledge-based economy to, or from resource-based economy to knowledge-based economy, if we don't get to an innovation, creative-based type of economy, we could be faced with some very significant challenges. So, and we want to leave this campsite a little bit better for our kids, a little bit better than how you and I came and found it.
So really keeping in line with leaving this campsite better than we found it. We'd like to see this series really be the beginning of a movement that changes the world. And how do you see yourself playing a role in that movement? And what do you see yourself doing?
Just like you and I and all of us, we would do what we need to do at that point in time, that moment in time, if it's so that we can just drive the type of mindset, the type of thinking. If we can add whatever we can do to add. I mean, I'm here to put me in, coach. I'm here to help. If it's time to collect some more firewood, I'll collect firewood. If it's time to do set up the tent, we'll set up the tent. But a lot of that, those are analogies. But really, it's what can we do? I can help a little bit in terms of leadership and cultural tuning, because from there, we can really drive value-based organizations, and from value-based organizations, we can layer on top of that this thing called innovation.
So if people are interested in being involved in this kind of conversation, talking more about innovation, finding out how they can contribute where the role they play in this campsite. How can they find out more information about the Innovate series?
Go to millionactsofinnovation.com, and everything they need to want to know ever about that is embedded in the website.
Great. Well, thank you so much
Thank you.
For sharing everything, for sharing yourself and how you participate in the Innovate series.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Kathy.
You're welcome.